Hello everyone, welcome to my Bold and Beautiful Now channel. The Bold and the Beautiful recap. Friday, February 13th, Electra dumps Will over Dylan drama. Friday's episode of The Bold and the Beautiful delivered heartbreak at the beach house and honeymoon heat at the loft. Electra Forrester walked away from Will Spencer after he refused to kick Melissa Dylan out, while Carter Walton and Daphne Rose celebrated their new marriage with passion and baby plans. Let's break down how it all unfolded. Carter and Daphne, wedding glow turns into baby plans. After sharing celebratory moments with Steffi Forrester Finnegan and Rich Forrester at the office, Carter and Daphne slipped away to enjoy their first official moments as husband and wife. The newlyweds were completely wrapped up in each other, savoring the excitement of their surprise wedding and diving straight into talk of starting a family. Daphne has made it clear she wants a baby soon, and Carter appears fully on board. Their post-wedding celebration quickly turned into baby-making attempts, with both of them confident they're beginning a beautiful new chapter together. For now, it's all bliss and optimism for this couple. Ivy drops the bomb. Back at the beach house, things couldn't have been more different. Will was still furious that Ivy Forrester thought she could dictate who lives in his home. But Ivy insisted Electra didn't have the full picture, and she was determined to provide it. Ivy accused Will and Dylan of running around behind Electra's back, sending shockwaves through the room. Will immediately denied it. Dylan looked horrified. Electra froze. Ivy then laid out her version of events, Dylan's so-called ballerina performance, falling into Will's arms, the late-night swim, the bikini, and the towel wrap afterward. Every moment that seemed innocent to Will suddenly sounded suspicious through Ivy's lens. Dylan on trial. Will and Dylan tried to explain. They insisted Ivy had twisted harmless moments to fit her narrative. But Ivy wasn't backing down. She argued that once Hayes Finnegan went to bed, Dylan had no reason to be alone with Electra's boyfriend. According to Ivy, Dylan broke every rule Electra had set. That's when Electra's hurt really set in. She trusted Dylan. Now she felt blindsided. The more Ivy talked, the more Electra began to agree that the behavior crossed boundaries, even if nothing romantic actually happened. The ultimatum. The tension exploded when Will announced that Dylan was moving back in. Electra was stunned. When she demanded that Will tell Dylan she couldn't stay, he refused. He wasn't going to let Dylan end up sleeping in her car again. Will insisted Dylan was their friend and deserved support. Electra saw it differently. It's her or me. The ultimatum landed heavy. Will stood his ground. And that was enough for Electra. We're done. Electra made it clear she couldn't stay in a house where Dylan was living. If Will chose to let Dylan stay, then he was choosing her. And with that, Electra ended the relationship. She stormed out, with a smug Ivy not far behind. The door closed on Will's stunned expression. Just like that, it was over. A dangerous shift. Inside, Will struggled to process what just happened. Dylan embraced him, apologizing for the chaos. As Will stepped back, trying to gather his thoughts, Dylan's feelings deepened. In her mind, Will became something more than a friend. He became her protector. Her hero. Her prince. And that emotional shift could spell even more trouble ahead. What's next? Will isn't ready to give up on Electra. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers suggest he'll fight to win her back. But with Ivy stirring the pot and Dylan's feelings intensifying, reconciliation may not be so simple. One couple just began their forever. Another just shattered. And the fallout is only getting started. Electra dumps Will after an ultimatum, while Carter and Daphne dive headfirst into newlywed bliss. Love soared and crashed in the same episode of The Bold and the Beautiful. At the beach house, accusations spiraled out of control as Ivy Forrester unleashed a version of events that left Electra stunned and Will scrambling to defend himself. What began as a confrontation over Dylan's forced departure turned into a relationship-ending ultimatum. Meanwhile, across town, it was nothing but celebration as Carter Walton and Daphne Rose embraced married life with passion, promises, and plans for a baby, immediately. One couple imploded. Another couldn't keep their hands off each other. Only on B&B. Beach house blow-up, Ivy drops a bomb. At the cliffside beach house, tension ignites the moment Will and Electra confront Ivy about ordering Dylan to leave Los Angeles. Voices rise quickly. Pandemonium threatens. Dylan tries to explain that Ivy believed she was protecting Electra, but she misunderstood the situation completely. The more Dylan talks, the more Will fumes. He lets Ivy have it for forcing Dylan back into survival mode, including sleeping in her car again. That's when Ivy straightens up and delivers a chilling line. "You don't have the whole story." Will scoffs, but Ivy presses forward. She claims what she witnessed at the beach house wasn't proper. Not proper at all. The words hang there. Electra's expression shifts. Dylan begs them to stop interrupting so Ivy can just say it. And Ivy does. "Running around behind your back." In her boldest accusation yet, Ivy turns to Electra and declares, "These two have been running around behind your back." The air gets sucked out of the room. Will immediately protests. Dylan looks horrified. Electra's eyes dart between them. Ivy leans into her narrative. She describes what she supposedly saw, Dylan in a skimpy bikini, glistening from a late-night swim, looking up at Will with what Ivy dramatically describes as big, sensual eyes. The delivery borders on theatrical. Will fires back that everything was completely innocent. He demands to know why Ivy was lurking around his house in the first place. Ivy counters with another detail meant to sting. "You wrapped her in a towel." Electra's composure cracks. "I trusted you," she cries to Dylan. Dylan tries to explain, but Ivy keeps hammering home the idea that rules were broken. Boundaries crossed. Trust shattered. Electra's face hardens. "Her aunt is right," she says. "This was inappropriate. Not proper." The ultimatum. Will declares that Dylan is moving back into the guest house. He refuses to let Ivy dictate who can live in his home. That's when Electra snaps. She turns to Will and lays it all on the line. "It's me or her." The words are sharp. Final. Will hesitates, not because he's choosing Dylan romantically, but because he refuses to throw a friend out based on what he sees as twisted accusations. But hesitation is enough. Ivy gently tells Electra it's time to leave. Will tries to stop her, but Electra pulls away. "As long as Dylan is there, I can't be," she says. "This is a decision that you are making. Goodbye." And just like that, she walks out. Ivy lingers for a split second, a satisfied glint in her eyes, before following her niece out the door. The slam echoes. Aftermath, a hug and a dangerous thought. Inside the suddenly quiet beach house, Will turns to Dylan. "We'll figure this out," he promises. Dylan apologizes over and over. They hug, an innocent, comforting embrace that unfortunately looks exactly like the kind of moment Ivy would weaponize if she were watching from the shadows. Will stands there, devastated. And in Dylan's mind, something shifts. She starts seeing him differently. Not just as a friend, but as her protector. Her hero. Her prince. That internal shift could change everything. Meanwhile at Forrester, a wedding glow. While one relationship crumbled, another flourished. At Forrester Creations, Steffi and Rich toast the newly married Carter and Daphne. There's laughter, recapping of the surprise ceremony, and plenty of glowing admiration. Daphne marvels at how everything came together so quickly. Steffi beams, reminding everyone she always knew Carter and Daphne would hit it off. Considering she originally brought Daphne into the picture to distract Carter from Hope, the irony is delicious. Carter and Daphne share kiss after kiss, unable to hide their joy. Newlywed bliss at the loft. Back at the loft, Carter makes a heartfelt speech about being the kind of husband Daphne can always count on. He promises stability, loyalty, devotion. When he tells her he loves her, Daphne melts. They kiss. They savor saying the words husband and wife. The joy is uncomplicated. Pure. As they settle in for their first night as newlyweds, Daphne confesses something playful. She told Steffi they'd have a baby in 9 months. Carter grins. Then we'd better get to it. The implication is clear. This couple is wasting no time starting their family. Their future feels bright, hopeful, and blissfully uncomplicated. For now. 2 very different love stories. This episode masterfully contrasts 2 extremes. Carter and Daphne are diving headfirst into commitment, passion, and plans for a baby. Will and Electra are torn apart by suspicion, manipulation, and a single ultimatum. Ivy believes she protected her niece. Electra believes she protected herself. Will believes he stood up for what's right. But Dylan. She's standing at a crossroads, heart quietly shifting, loyalties tangled, emotions deepening. And that may be the most dangerous development of all. Because if Dylan truly starts seeing Will as her prince, this triangle isn't ending anytime soon.